Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Teaching English on Dروس Super Goal 4. Before we start, we would like to welcome Mr. Fawaz Al-Aqil, the interpreter to the sign language. As always, we start our class by reviewing the objectives. By the end of the class, the students will be able to answer comprehension questions based on listening. Students will be able to identify the syllable stress in some words. Students will be able to use the past progressive in conversations. And at the end of the class, students will be able to identify the past and the past participle of 5 irregular verbs. You know, now we are at Unit 7, and the title of this unit is Today's News. And our class today will be mainly on listening and pronunciation. That is section number 4 and section number 5. Before we start our main class, let's make a quick revision on the previous lesson. You remember in the previous lesson we studied grammar, and you remember that we studied past progressive when we talk about 2 actions happened in the past. One of these actions was continuous in the past, and the other action interrupted this action. Okay, how to use it, how to construct it. We do it like this. I was sleeping, he was sleeping, she was sleeping, it was sleeping. And you know that was here, the auxiliary verb comes with I, he, she, it. But when we use the other pronouns like we, you, and they, or the plural, we use were. So we can say we were sleeping, you were sleeping, and they were sleeping. In the negative form, we do the same, but we add not to the auxiliary verb, was and were. So we can say, I wasn't sleeping, she wasn't sleeping, he wasn't sleeping, it wasn't sleeping. And also we do the same with were. We say, we weren't sleeping, they weren't sleeping, and they weren't sleeping. How to make the question out of this tense, we can say here, he was sleeping. We are describing the picture here. If we describe it now, we can say he is sleeping. But when we talk about this action in the past, continuous in the past, we say he was sleeping. If we want to change, to make the sentence here into interrogative, that is a question, we just exchange he with was. So we can say here, was he sleeping? Okay, but are there any changes that we have to make? Yes, there are. We have to capitalize the was here, the first letter of the auxiliary verb was, to change it into a capital like this. We say was. Then we change also the pronoun he into a small letter, so we can say was he sleeping. And we also have to change some of the punctuation, so we have to put a question mark. So here it comes like a question. Was he sleeping? If you want to answer this positively, you say yes he was, or negatively you can say no he wasn't. Okay, and here we can tell how to make the question with other pronouns. Was I, was he, was she, was it, and were also with the other pronouns, were you, were they, and were we. The short answer, yes he was, yes she was, yes they were, yes they was, yes they were. Also you can say yes you were, yes we were. In the negative, we can just add not, so we can say no I wasn't, no he wasn't, no they weren't, no you weren't. And also just to remind you of the grammar in the previous lesson, on the timeline, we told you that when you have the timeline here, we talk about the 2 actions, like this one, action number 1, we can say, I was taking a shower. This sentence is in the past, but it was continuous in the past. This action, which is taking a shower, is interrupted by a phone ring. So we can say, when I was taking a shower, somebody called. Or we can say, the telephone rang. So which one was continuous? The first one. I was taking a shower, and the interruption came from the phone. We say the phone rang. So the first sentence is the past continuous. The other one is in the past simple. Another example we can use here, Badriya was sleeping, and while she was sleeping, the phone rang. Okay. Another example also, Ibrahim was doing his homework, continuous in the past, and he was interrupted by his mother. His mother called him for dinner. Okay? If you want to ask what was Ibrahim doing when his mother called him, we can say Ibrahim was doing his homework when his mother called him for dinner. Okay, also we have some sentences like here we said Asma was cooking dinner when the electricity went out. We can also have two actions in the past. We can say the people were going home when the fire started. So these are two actions. One is continuous and one is simple. The workers were leaving the building when the elevator stopped. Okay, the elevator stopped and this interrupted the work of the workers. Majid was looking at the trees when he saw a parrot. He saw a parrot, but what was he doing when he saw a parrot? He was looking at the trees. The thief was stealing a car. He was continuously doing that when the police arrested him. Also, we have another example, the last one. The students were waiting for the bus when the rain started. Also in the previous lesson we reviewed some irregular verbs like the verb cut here. We use it in 3 sentences, and you know that the verb cut is an irregular verb, so the past of cut is the same, cut, and the past participle is cut as well. Also the verb do, we use it in the present as do, in the past did, and in the past participle done. Drink can be used in the past as drank and in the past participle as drunk. Drive can be used in the past as drove and the past participle driven. Eat can be used as ate and in the past participle can be used as eaten. And our main class today is going to be on listening. So today, inshallah, we're going to listen to a conversation. Let's read the instructions here. Listen and match each conversation to a picture. So we are going to listen to 6 conversations, and also we're going to match these 6 conversations to 6 pictures that we're going to show you now. You need to write the number next to the picture. Like here, we have a table, we have candles. Here you can see on the table, and it is considered as a meeting or a business meeting. Here, this picture indicates some shopping, and there was an alarm. We'll come in details about this picture. Also, this picture is talking about driving a car. So we will have or you listen to some hints that will help you to connect or to match the conversation with the picture. And here this girl is using a phone, and something happened. What was the thing that happened? We will find out when we listen to it later on. Also here, this is a classroom, and the teacher is doing something, and she's teaching, and the students want to go out, and they had some circumstances that we're going to listen to in the coming slides. Also here, there is also somebody who's going down from stairs. In the last step, something happened. We will learn more about it. So also here we have conversation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll go to details to each picture. You can see here, this is a room, okay? And you can see there is a light here. But what happens when this girl is talking on the phone? The light went out. So we use it in the present. We say the lights go out. But when we talk about something in the past, we say lights went out. Look at the picture here. She was talking, and there is a light now. And by the time the lights went out. Okay? Number 2, you can see the hall here, and there is a business meeting over dinner. As you can see here, this is a table, and there are people gathering on this table, and there the light also went out, and the waiter, as you can see here, brought something. What did he bring? He brought these things. What do you call them? We call them candles. So when you listen to candle, that will be considered as a hint to help you to find out what the right answer is. Okay, number 3, also you will have somebody in the office, okay, and he is going out of the office, so leaving the office, and also he was actually in a building, we call it, and he is exactly in the 30th floor, and also when he was going downstairs, the light went out. In number 4, also we have somebody who is driving a car, And also we can find out that from the light, from the car here, the light went out as well. So the car, or the lights in the car went out. Okay, and he was afraid of something. You can see from the picture here, what can you see? Look at the cars. There is, what do you call this? We call it an accident. He was afraid to have an accident since he didn't have lights in the car. And we go to number 5. Somebody is shopping, as you can see here, and there was this thing, what do you call it? We call it emergency lights. It's called an alarm of fire or something like that in the supermarket. And the speaker here in this conversation told us that there might be some people who took stuff in their pockets or in the bags, and also they went out with this stuff without paying. They didn't pay money. So this is conversation number 5. In conversation number 6, again here also these students are in the classroom and there is light here, and by the time lights went out. Okay, so it is considered as a blackout. When the light goes out, it's called a blackout. Okay, and what did the student do? They tried to go to the subway. This is the subway, but the subway wasn't running. It wasn't working. Why? Because there was no electricity, and the students had to walk for miles, for long distances, and they couldn't use the subway. Okay, now let's listen to this part of the conversation, to conversation number 1, and number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6, and we need to match them with these pictures. Number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. Let's start with number 1. Now you're going to listen, and when you listen, you need to match. You find some hints from the pictures here that will help you to connect the conversation with the right picture. So are you ready now to listen to number 1 and to match the number with the picture? Okay, that's good. Let's go and listen to number 1.
1. I was talking to a friend on the phone when the lights went out, so I just continued talking in the dark until they came on again.
Okay, now which one you think? Is it the table here, or the shopping, or the driving, or the one who's calling on the phone, or the students in the classroom, or the one who's going down stairs? It is very clear that there is a telephone call and the lights went out, so that is number 1. And now we move to number 2, and when you listen, try to find keywords that will help you from the pictures. Let's go and listen to number 2 now.
2. We were having a business meeting over dinner. We were right in the middle of our meal. The waiters brought candles.
Okay, now you can tell that the speaker here mentioned candles, business meeting, and dinner. So it is very clear that the picture here, this one is indicating conversation number 2. And now we move to conversation number 3. Let's listen and find out how to connect to the other 4 pictures that are remaining. Let's listen.
3. I was leaving the office. I work on the 30th floor, you know, so I walked down all those steps. When I got to the bottom, the lights went on again.
Okay, so going out the steps, it is very clear that this is the one. You can tell from the conversation, the steps here, we have only this picture that has steps. And now we move to number 4 to find out which one of the remaining 3 pictures and how to connect it to this conversation. Let's listen.
4. I was driving when the lights went out. I had to be very careful because none of the traffic lights were working, and I didn't want to have an accident.
Okay, so the keywords might be car, driving, accident. So it is very clear that this is the conversation number 4. Now we have 5 and 6, and we have 2 pictures. We can find out, it will become easier for us to find out because we have only 2 pictures. Now let's listen to number 5 and find out how to connect it to the right picture.
5. I was busy shopping. They turned on emergency lights in the supermarket, but I'm sure some people went out with stuff in their pockets and bags without paying for the things.
Okay, which picture can tell you about shopping, supermarket? It is very, very clear that this is the right answer. So here, this picture is number 5. And now we have only number 6, but let's listen and find out about this one.
6. We were in class when there was a blackout. The problem was getting home. The subway wasn't running, so I had to walk for miles.
Okay, so the classroom, here is the classroom, and this is conversation number 6. Okay, now we move to the second part of our class today, that is the pronunciation. You need to listen and note the word stress, then practice. You know that in English we have words that have different syllables, and these syllables sometimes have, some of the syllables have to be stressed more than the other. So we have like this for the first syllable, like here the word lighting, we can make the stress on the first syllable, so we can say lighting, lighting. You notice that we make a stress on the first syllable. Another word also is language. You can see the word or the syllable that is written in the red font is indicating the syllable that is stressed more than the other syllable. So we can say language, language. You notice here we stress on the first syllable. Also, we need to find out about the stress on the second syllable. For example, we have the first one here, performance. So we have the stress on the second syllable. You can see it in the red font here. So we say performance, performance. And also we have the other word that is electric, electric. Here we have 3 syllables, and we have the second syllable here stressed. So we say electric. And the third example of the stress on the second syllable is attraction, attraction. So here we stress the second syllable, which is written here in the red font. So also we have the third syllable stress here with one example, that is electricity, electricity. You notice the third syllable here is stressed more than the other syllables. Let's listen to one of your colleagues now saying them and to find out more, and you will need to repeat after her to learn how to make stress on the other words. Okay?
Listen. Note the word stress. Then practice. First syllable. Lightning. Language. Second syllable. Performance. Electric. Attraction. Third syllable. Electricity.
Okay. Now we move to an exercise also from the workbook that will be exercise C in your book that is on page 117. Look at the photos of what people were doing, answer the questions, use short answers. You can see the picture here, and we can ask you a question here, that is a yes or no question. Was he eating pizza? We can say yes, he was. Okay, we are asking about the past, that is continuous in the past, and the answer is yes, he was. And here from the picture here, was he taking a test? Look at the table here or the desk here. Is he answering something? So the answer is no. So how can you answer this negatively? You can say no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Another picture here. Look at these two guys here. What are they? What were they doing? We can ask like this: were they doing their homework? This is a yes or no question. We can answer. We can say no, they weren't. They were playing a video game. And here also we ask about skiing. So we ask about these 4 people in the past. We can say, were they skiing? The answer, yes, they were. Yes, they were. And now we move to the last part of our class today, that is from the irregular verbs. We start with the first one here, fall. We use it in the present as fall. In the past, we can use it as fell. And in the past participle, we can use it as fallen. Look at the guy here. He is falling asleep. He is falling asleep. So when we use it in the present, we say he falls asleep. That is a habit. That is a regular thing happens. When we talk about something in the past, we can say he fell asleep. Here in this case, we can specify the time. We care more about time. But when we talk about the action, regardless of the time, we say he has fallen asleep. Okay, he falls asleep, he fell asleep, and he has fallen asleep. Here, the last sentence doesn't care about the time, cares more about the action. The verb here is feed. Look at somebody here is feeding the chicken. Okay, somebody is feeding the chicken. In the past, we can say fed, and in the past participle also can be used as fed. She feeds the chicken. We can say she fed the chicken if we talk about yesterday, 2 days ago, or any time in the past. And if we talk about the action, regardless of the time, we say she has fed the chicken. And here the verb fight, the past is fought, and the past participle is fought as well. So how can we use it in 3 different sentences? In the present, we say he fights in a terrible war. We can say in the past, he fought in a terrible war. And if we talk about the action, regardless of the time, we say he has fought in a terrible war. In number 14, find. In the past, we can use it as found, and in the past participle can be used also as found. We talk about somebody saying he finds diamonds. That is a regular thing happens. And in the past, we can say he found diamonds. And if we talk about the action, regardless of the time, we say he has found diamonds. He has found diamonds. The last verb here is fly. We use it in the past as flew, and in the past participle as flown. How can we use it in 3 different tenses? The first one, we can say we fly to Athens. That is a thing happens regularly every year, for example, or every 2 years, or every 2 months or 3 months. We say we fly to Athens. If we talk about last year, for example, we say we flew to Athens. But when we talk about an experience, regardless of the time, we can say we have flown to Athens. Okay? And by this, we come to the end of our class today. Thank you for watching, and see you inshallah in our next episode. Goodbye.